What if I told you that the most dangerous place for your brain is your shower? Every 40 seconds, someone suffers a stroke. And 99% of seniors don't even realize that their daily shower habits are quietly raising their stroke risk by as much as 68%, according to new studies doctors are calling deeply alarming. It's not just the water, it's the heat, the pressure, the posture, the air you breathe, even the time of day you shower. The number one habit could literally trigger a stroke overnight, and most seniors are doing it without thinking twice. You'll see why grabbing the wrong surface, turning the wrong way, or even taking your shower at the wrong time could be all it takes. Everything you're about to see is backed by science, real research, and documented patient cases that changed careers forever. The most dangerous mistake. We'll reveal it at the very end, and trust me, it's not what you think. Before we dive in, I have two quick questions for you. First, have you noticed unexplained morning headaches lately? Second, does your vision sometimes blur after stepping out of the shower? Let us know in the comments below. We're reading and replying to each and every comment with personalized tips and advice. Now, without any further ado, let's get started. Number 7. Standing up too quickly in the shower. It sounds harmless. You're enjoying a warm, relaxing moment under the water. Maybe you've been sitting on a bath stool or leaning over the edge of the tub, and then you stand up. Fast. You feel a little off, maybe slightly dizzy, but it passes. No big deal, right? Well, that's wrong. This single movement, which is standing up too quickly during or after a shower, can suddenly cause a rapid drop in blood pressure. This drop is called orthostatic hypotension, which is a condition that happens when your body fails to adjust blood flow fast enough after a change in position. When you're older, the blood vessels that are supposed to contract and maintain pressure don't always respond quickly. That moment of lightheadedness is actually your brain being temporarily deprived of oxygen-rich blood. In younger people, the body rebounds quickly. In seniors, especially those with high blood pressure, diabetes, or on certain medications, the result can be much more serious. The sudden drop can trigger fainting. But even worse, in some cases, the brain's blood vessels can overcompensate afterward and shoot blood pressure dangerously high within minutes, which can rupture small vessels inside the brain and lead to what's called a hemorrhagic stroke. That is a type of stroke caused by bleeding in the brain. In a 2022 study published in Hypertension Research, researchers found that seniors who had episodes of orthostatic hypotension had a 53% increased risk of developing strokes within 3 years. And for those who experienced symptoms after bathing or standing up, the risk doubled. One of my patients, Amal, was a retired teacher in her early 70s. She lived alone, stayed active, and had no history of heart disease. But she told me that every time she stood up for her bath stool, she saw black spots. One morning, she collapsed straight onto the floor. The paramedics arrived and found her slurring her speech. A CT scan confirmed a small stroke near her brain's left frontal lobe, which is the area that controls speech and mood. After rehab and treatment, she recovered most of her abilities, but not all. She still has difficulty writing full sentences. We adjusted her blood pressure meds and taught her to always take 10 seconds to breathe deeply before standing. She now uses a grab bar and counts slowly as she rises, giving her blood vessels time to adjust. Since then, no more episodes. The simple fix is this: never stand suddenly in the shower. Hold the wall or a handle, take a deep breath, and rise slowly. That one change could save your life. Number 6. Poor ventilation during and after showering. You step into a hot shower, steam starts building, the mirror fogs, and the air gets heavy, warm, and moist. If you're like most people, you just let it happen. But here's something most people never think about. Poor ventilation in your bathroom doesn't just create mold or mildew, it actually raises your risk of stroke. The reason lies in a mix of hidden gases, increased humidity, and reduced oxygen levels. When you close the door, don't open a window, and don't run a fan, the environment in your bathroom changes fast. The warm air from your shower traps moisture and volatile organic compounds that are released from soaps, shampoos, wall paints, glues, and even the materials used in your shower curtain. Breathing in this toxic mix, especially in a small, steamy space with poor airflow, can lead to inflammation in the blood vessels and oxidative stress, which is the internal damage caused by an imbalance between free radicals and antioxidants in your body. That stress directly impacts your cardiovascular system. In older adults, the damage compounds because blood vessels are already thinner, less elastic, and more vulnerable to rupture or clot formation. In 2022, researchers at Environmental Health Perspectives published a study tracking the air quality in bathrooms with poor ventilation. The results were alarming. In less than 10 minutes of hot water running, carbon dioxide levels spiked by 87%, while oxygen levels dropped by 9%, creating a mildly hypoxic environment, which is an environment where your brain receives less oxygen than it needs. Over time, repeated exposure like this can contribute to cognitive decline, high blood pressure, and higher stroke risk. I once treated a 72-year-old woman named Linda who loved long showers. Her apartment had no bathroom window and no fan, and the door was always kept closed for privacy. She told me she often felt lightheaded when exiting the bathroom. One day, she felt dizzy, lost her balance, and hit the sink edge. She had suffered a transient ischemic attack, or mini stroke, which is a type of temporary blockage in the brain. Her oxygen levels at the ER were below normal, and we later traced the issue to poor ventilation and stagnant indoor air. We installed a small, high-efficiency exhaust fan in her bathroom and taught her to always open the door for airflow. Within weeks, her symptoms were gone. She even said she started sleeping better, thinking more clearly, and feeling less tired overall. So don't underestimate the air around you. Keep your bathroom well ventilated, especially when using hot water. Install an exhaust fan, open a window, or crack the door slightly. Clean air isn't just good for your lungs, it keeps your brain alive. Number 5. Using heavily fragranced body washes and shampoos. You step into the shower expecting a refreshing start to your day. You lather up with a popular brand of body wash, the kind that promises ocean breeze or relaxing lavender. The scent fills the air, the steam rises, and it all seems perfectly healthy. But what you may not know is that many of these products contain hidden chemicals called synthetic fragrances, which are often made from compounds known as phthalates and volatile organic compounds. These are industrial chemicals that have been linked to serious health risks, including inflammation of the blood vessels and increased stroke risk. Here's how it works. When you use these products in the enclosed space of a shower, especially with hot water and steam, the chemicals become airborne. You inhale them directly into your lungs, and from there, they quickly enter your bloodstream. Phthalates, which are chemicals that are used to hold scent on your skin longer, have been shown to interfere with the body's hormonal balance and increase oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is a process that damages blood vessel walls, making them more likely to rupture or clog, which is a known cause for both ischemic and hemorrhagic strokes. A 2021 study published in Environmental Research found that people with higher levels of phthalate exposure in their blood had 72% higher odds of suffering from high blood pressure and stroke-related complications. The risk was even more pronounced in seniors, whose detoxification systems, like the liver and kidneys, are naturally slower with age. So what's the fix here? Well, always read the label and avoid anything that says fragrance or parfum, as these are catch-all terms that can hide dozens of dangerous ingredients. Choose unscented or naturally scented products that are labeled phthalate-free, and always ventilate your bathroom well. A small bathroom fan can reduce airborne toxins by over 40%, according to research from Indoor Air Journal. Now let's talk about temperature, because how hot or cold your shower might be the silent trigger behind your next brain emergency. Number 4. Taking extremely hot showers. A hot shower feels incredible, especially on cold mornings or after a long day. It relaxes your muscles, eases tension, and gives you that comforting feeling of being wrapped in warmth. But for seniors, the heat can trigger a dangerous physiological chain reaction that sharply raises stroke risk. Here's why. Hot water causes your blood vessels to rapidly dilate. That is, they expand to allow more blood flow near the surface of your skin. This drop in vascular resistance can lower your core blood pressure for a moment. But your body, sensing the sudden change, activates the sympathetic nervous system, which is the system that prepares your body for stress. Your heart starts pumping harder, your blood pressure shoots back up, and your arteries are forced to handle a surge they aren't ready for. For people with hardened arteries or past cardiovascular problems, this surge can cause small vessels in the brain to tear or rupture. What's even more concerning is the sudden change in temperature when stepping out. That transition from a hot, steamy shower to a much cooler bathroom causes your body to constrict those vessels again, creating a back and forth seesaw in blood pressure. This is especially dangerous for seniors, whose baroreceptors, which are sensors in the blood vessels that help regulate pressure, become less sensitive with age. This leads to more fluctuations, which increases the risk of both ischemic strokes, which are caused by blood clots, and hemorrhagic strokes, which are caused by ruptured vessels. A 2020 study published in the Journal of Stroke and Cerebrovascular Diseases found that people who reported hot showers as part of their daily routine had a 44% higher risk of stroke, especially when those showers lasted longer than 15 minutes. The study also noted that those who had poorly ventilated bathrooms had even higher risk levels due to poor heat regulation and increased humidity. So here's the rule. If the water is so hot that your skin turns red afterward, it's too hot. Slightly warm is safe, while scalding heat is a hidden hazard. We've talked about products and temperatures, but now we need to address what you're doing with your head in the shower, because it's far more dangerous than you think. Number 3. Tilting the head backward under high-pressure shower heads. Imagine standing in the shower and letting the water pound the top of your head. You tilt your neck back to rinse shampoo, the spray hits your face and scalp, and the pressure feels invigorating. But for older adults, this movement, especially done quickly or repeatedly, can be far more dangerous than it seems. Tilting your head backward sharply causes a sudden change in blood flow to the brain. This position compresses the arteries in the neck, particularly the vertebral arteries, which are arteries that supply blood to the brainstem and cerebellum. When those vessels are compressed, even briefly, it can reduce the amount of oxygen going to critical parts of the brain. Combine that with hot water pressure directly over the skull and a high-pressure nozzle, and you have a perfect storm. Restricted flow from below, overstimulation from above, and a fast shift in vascular tension. This is especially risky for people with existing carotid artery disease or vertebral artery narrowing, which are conditions that are common among seniors. In fact, these types of neck positions have been linked to a phenomenon called vertebrobasilar insufficiency, which is a condition that causes dizziness, blurred vision, or even fainting when the arteries in the neck get pinched or twisted. And in some cases, this reduced blood flow can trigger a mini stroke, or even a full stroke, if the brain is already compromised. In a 2019 paper from Stroke and Vascular Neurology, researchers found that head and neck positioning contributed to transient ischemic attacks in 14% of stroke patients over the age of 65. The most common scenario was tilting the head backward in the shower, at the sink, or during salon visits. I treated a retired engineer named Richard, aged 76, who came into the hospital with a sudden loss of balance and slurred speech. His scan showed signs of an ischemic stroke near the base of the cerebellum. When we looked deeper, we learned he had narrowed arteries in his neck and had been rinsing shampoo by tilting his head back under high-pressure water almost every morning. He even said, "I like to feel the blast right in the middle of my scalp. It wakes me up." That force, combined with the extreme angle, likely caused a critical drop in brain oxygen. After recovery and rehabilitation, we taught him to tilt his head forward instead, letting the water rinse from the back downward. No more neck hyperextension, no more risk. So if you're used to looking up into the water, stop. Keep your chin neutral or slightly down. It may feel awkward at first, but it's a small price to pay for protecting your brain from silent attacks. Now let's talk about something even sneakier, a habit that feels healthy but could actually prime your body for stroke risk with every rinse. Number 2. Cold water shock in the morning. There's a growing trend online that promotes cold showers as a miracle solution. Advocates claim they boost circulation, wake you up, burn fat, and improve mood. And while short exposure to cold may have some health benefits for young, healthy individuals, the story is very different for seniors. Cold water shock, especially first thing in the morning, can cause a dangerous and sudden spike in blood pressure, which can trigger a stroke within minutes. Here's what happens inside the body. The moment ice-cold water hits your skin, your sympathetic nervous system fires into action. This is the system that activates your fight or flight response. Your heart rate jumps, blood vessels constrict to preserve heat, and adrenaline floods your bloodstream. This reaction is known as the cold shock response. It's intense, and for older adults who already have stiff arteries or unregulated blood pressure, it can push the body past its limit. A sudden increase in blood pressure places immediate strain on the blood vessels in the brain. The risk becomes even higher when the cold water is applied to the face, chest, or neck, which are areas that contain clusters of nerve receptors sensitive to temperature changes. In a large 2020 study published in the Journal of Clinical Hypertension, seniors exposed to cold water therapy had a 31% increased risk of adverse cardiovascular events, especially when the exposure happened in the early morning hours when blood pressure is naturally rising. Let me tell you about Adam, a 70-year-old man who had read online that cold showers could improve his energy and circulation. Every morning, right after waking up, he would turn the shower all the way cold and step in for 30 seconds. He said the shock made him feel alive. But one morning, after just a few seconds under the water, he felt a pounding headache behind his right eye, followed by numbness in his left arm. He collapsed before he could turn off the tap. Luckily, his wife heard the thud and called for help immediately. CT imaging confirmed a small hemorrhagic stroke near the thalamus, which is the brain's relay center for motor and sensory signals. We advised him to stop cold showers entirely. Instead, we developed a new routine where he started with lukewarm water and gradually cooled it down at the end, not shockingly cold, but slightly refreshing. His blood pressure readings stabilized within a few weeks, and he never experienced another episode. So the takeaway here is simple. If you're over 60, avoid abrupt cold exposure, especially in the morning. If you enjoy the sensation of cool water, ease into it slowly and keep it brief. Your brain depends on stable blood flow, not shock therapy. And now we've reached the most dangerous habit of them all, the one that almost every senior is doing without realizing the terrifying consequences. Number 1. Showering late at night, right before bed, without cooling down the body first. There's something comforting about taking a shower before bed. It's a habit many seniors rely on to feel clean, relaxed, and ready for sleep. But showering late at night, especially with warm water and immediately crawling into bed, might be the single most dangerous mistake when it comes to stroke risk. Let's break this down. When you take a warm shower, your core body temperature rises. That warmth causes your blood vessels to dilate, which is the expansion of vessel walls that temporarily reduces blood pressure. So far, it seems relaxing and harmless, but here's where it becomes a problem. Once you step out of that warm shower and lie down, especially if your room is cool or air-conditioned, your body attempts to stabilize its temperature quickly. The rapid shift from dilation to constriction causes blood vessels to snap back into tension mode. For older adults, who often have stiff arteries and fluctuating nighttime blood pressure, this rebound can create dangerous turbulence in blood flow, particularly in the brain. And the timing makes it worse. Blood pressure naturally drops during deep sleep, but the sudden vessel tightening caused by the shower-to-bed transition can cause uneven flow or, worse, rupture vulnerable blood vessels in the brain while you're unconscious. That's why many strokes are first noticed in the early morning hours, not when they happen, but when someone fails to wake up or wakes up confused or paralyzed. A 2022 study in the American Journal of Geriatric Cardiology followed 1,600 seniors over 2 years. They found that those who regularly showered within 30 minutes of going to bed were 42% more likely to suffer a nocturnal stroke. The risk was even higher, up to 68%, in individuals with poor temperature regulation or who slept in air-conditioned environments immediately after bathing. So if you love showering at night, don't worry, you can still do it safely. The key is to finish your shower at least 1 hour before bed and give your body time to cool down. Use a fan, wear breathable clothes, and keep your bedroom temperature moderate. This simple shift can protect your brain while you sleep. So now you know the 7 habits that can raise your stroke risk overnight. The good news is this: every single one of these habits has a fix. Slow down when standing. Use fragrance-free products. Keep your shower warm, not hot. Tilt your head forward, not back. If you want the benefits of cold water, ease into it, don't shock your system, and give your body time to cool before bed. These aren't big sacrifices. They're small tweaks that can make the difference between a normal day and a life-changing emergency. Now, we want to hear from you. Do you do any of these habits regularly? Which one surprised you the most? Share with us your experiences and opinions in the comments below. We love to hear them. Thanks for watching.